Hey, Chuckle Fucks. This is, what's it called? Dark Raikou. Welcome back with another new What If, of part 2 of What If Issei was the reincarnation of Madara Uchiha and had the Black Dragon of Annihilation. Yes, this is part 2 of it. No recaps because it hasn't been 1 month and blah blah blah. Let me continue on. I should also mention that thanks for getting to 100 and then passing it by getting to 400. 104. I don't know, I can't speak right now. But it's pretty much shocking because I wasn't expecting to hit it too fast. I was expecting to just wait before I do my special what's it called, what if. Since I do kind of do special what ifs on most of the occasions, like for when I either hit like a different point of stone points or whatever, whenever I hit like 100 or 200, 300, 400, 500, you get the point. I usually never finish them in my first channel, and I might try to just do a movie for what's it called, my second channel. So either a movie or a one shot, but I'm thinking of doing a one shot because yeah. But not the point. I might do it whenever I get to do it. But right now, I'm gonna do this what if, and yeah. Then after that, I'm gonna go to my first channel and actually try to finish some of my what ifs. I have way too many. Fuck. Yeah. But let me begin into this what if, and let me shut the fuck up. But yeah. When we go into Issei. Issei is now downstairs right now, just having the stoic look, while Azuna is just smiling and kind of talking to Rias, and while his parents are kind of also talking to Rias. This is where, well, Rias is just smiling and laughing at them, and this is where, well, Issei, who is Madara right now, is right now thinking in his head, Majestic Flame Destroyer. Majestic Flame Destroyer. This is where he was going through the hand signs again, until Rias, well, mostly not Rias, mostly his father said, so, Rias, when are you gonna have, well, Issei's children? Or should I say Madara's children? This is where Rias' face said, what are you talking about? This is where, well, Rias, he spits out his food because he was eating and said, Dad, shut the fuck up. This is where, well, Issei's dad said, oh, come on, Madara. It's not that bad. Besides, we do want grandkids. And we know Azuna isn't gonna have grandkids because, well, he's too nice, but at the same time, he doesn't really want kids. This is where, well, Azuna say, well, I really haven't found anyone perfect. So yeah, I guess you can point that out. And I guess Rias here is pretty perfect with my brother. This is where, well, Madara kind of just glances at Azuna. Azuna kind of shuts up a little bit. And this is where, well, Issei's mother says, yeah, it's pretty good, right? Red hair with a dark black emo duckling. This is where Madara just glares at his mother fully, just like, I'm done with this shit. This is where Madara stands up and says, I'm going already. This is where, well, Issei's parents says, he's going early to school instead of being late. This is where, well, comes a miracle. He first managed to get a girl and then now he's going to school. This is where they're crying. This is where they're overreacting and other things. This is where, well, Issei is just so annoyed. This is where Issei has his goddamn luggage or backpack, whatever it's called, and just going to school. Now, of course, this is where, well, Rias says, hey, wait up for me. This is where, well, when Issei turns around, just glares at her. Now, this is where Rias says, hey, don't give me a look. I only wanted to meet your parents. Your parents are very energetic people. They're pretty nice also. And this is where, well, Madara says, yeah, whatever. Now, I'm going to call Issei Madara or Madara Issei, but yeah, you get the point. They're the same person. But not the point. Let me go back to the what if. This is where, well, Issei says, why are you following me? Shouldn't you be going, what's it called, first and appearing in the, what's it called, school? But blah, blah, blah. This is where, well, Rias says, well, I mean, we're in the same classroom. We're in class 1A, moron. This is where, well, Madara glares at her. This is where, well, Rias kind of just smiles at him and says, oh, come on. I'm just telling the truth. This is where Azuna says, wait up for me, brother, and wait up for a brother. This is where, well, Madara says, no, don't you dare say it to Azuna. This is where Azuna says, oh, okay, fine. Sorry about that, Rias said. This is where, well, Rias says, no, it's okay. This is where, well, Madara says, no, we're not doing that. No, 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 no. This is where, well, Rias is just smiling as well Madara, and Madara is just glancing at her. Doesn't really care, but this is where he's looking forward. This is where when they get to school, this is where Asuna kind of says, oh god, I'm gonna be late for class, and I'm also gonna be late for meeting with Kiba. I gotta go, see you guys. This is where he runs in first and kind of just rushes towards mostly meeting with Kiba and kind of talking to him. But yeah, this is where, well, Asuna does that, and this is where, well, Madara says, well, gotta sit on this bench and wait. This is where, well, Madara is just sitting down while Rias glances at him and says, you should be coming along also. You know, what's it called, Issei-kun? You know you should be coming along, right? This is where, well, Madara just kind of puts his, like, hand mostly, on his, like, leg and puts his face over his hand and all that. Well, mostly his elbow on top of his, like, what's it called, leg, his, like, left leg. And this is where it's kind of left hand also. He puts his, like, face, like, chin down on his, like, hand. This is where he just glances at Rias and says, I'm not walking along with you. You know how stupid that is? This is where, well, Rias says, you don't want to be kind of annoyed with the popularity, or the whole population and other things. Yeah, and if I'm annoyed, I'm kicking the shit and breaking teeth left and right. This is where, well, Rias says, okay. This is where she's walking away until she turns back around. This is where, well, Issei had his eyes closed right now thinking of something. And this is where, well, Rias grabs his, well, what's it called, hand, mostly his, like, arm, and also then grabbed his hand and all that. Mostly grabbed his left hand and pulled him. This is where Issei would have fell down if it wasn't for Issei's right hand to actually grab the ground. This is where he glares at Rias and says, what are you doing? This is where, well, Rias says, come on, Issei, it's not that bad. Besides, you shouldn't be doing stuff like that. You're, well, my friend, aren't you? This is where, well, Issei glares at her and says, when the fuck did we ever become friends? This is where, well, Rias says, well, I mean, you did say last time that you had fun with me. This is where, well, Madara blink right now saying, what? When the? You know, when we were playing chess. This is where, oh, Madara says, whatever, I should be going first then. This is where, well, Rias didn't actually let Issei go first because she just, like, walked next to him. This is where so many whispers erupted around both of them. This is where we go into the girl's side. The girl says, oh my god, President Rias is right now next to, well, Issei-kun. This is where, well, half of them are scared. But this is where, well, mostly a brownish hair girl with glasses says, damn, I never expected this shit. Damn, Issei. Damn, I should have been the first one. This is where, well, her name is, what's it called? Mostly, what's it called? Aki. Her name was Akia. And of course, this is where, well, she says, damn it, I wanted to be the first. This is where, well, she only likes, well, Issei a lot because of his stoic and also this crazy look when he's in battle. But yeah, she actually kind of likes and digs that a lot. This is where, well, she's kind of a little bit crazy for him, but yeah. This is where, well, she's kind of jealous the fact that Rias is right now walking along with, what's it called, Issei. Now, Issei has his eyes closed, but he's hearing all this shit. And this is where he can hear also Akia kind of just be saying a lot of stuff, whispering, and he can hear all that because, well, for some reason he can hear that. Even though, well, he's not technically a devil, actually. But yeah, I'll mention that what I mean about that later. This is where he can hear them. This is where he actually kind of grossed out. But yeah, this is where, well, he then glances towards the guys. And this is where, well, we go into the guy's side. This is the guy says, oh, fuck, no. This is where all of them are complaining because Madara, the most scariest person in the goddamn school, is with the most popular girl in the entire school. In her, what's it called? Mostly chest size, body size, you get the point. Mostly all the guys kind of perverted and all that. This is where, well, she's also very amazing in her face and amazing red hair. And this is where they're like, damn, the popular girl is with the most scariest person out here. This is where mostly a bunch of guys are whispering. And this is where, well, one guy right now tried to detail enough in what he would do towards Rias. And this is where, well, Issei glares at this person, annoyed. This is where there was a rock underneath him. He kind of just throws it up by his legs. He mostly lift that shit up, kind of like throws it like a soccer ball up into his hand and just tosses it so fast towards this person, like if he was throwing a shuriken. Like, this is where, well, this person gets hit in the eye. And this is where the guy's screaming out in pain. This is where the guy's right now just pales at what Madara or Issei has done. Mostly Issei. They don't know him by Madara. But this is where, well, Ria just sighs because she didn't really want Issei to do that. Now, of course, she was hearing it, but she really didn't care. But this is where, well, she was actually kind of confused in why Issei even did that. This is where, well, most of the other guys say, shit, we pissed him off. How did he hear us? We were whispering. This is where one guy says, motherfucker, he wasn't whispering at all. That idiot got it coming. This is where, well, so many guys are just complaining. This is where, well, mostly the girls started kind of coming to conclusions, and also the guys thinking that they slept together. This is where, well, Issei gets annoyed. This is where he steps backwards and about to scream at them, saying, shut. This is where, well, Ria says, I need to be going to class. Let's go, Issei-kun. This is where Issei kind of just glares at her. Stop calling me that. This is where, well, Ria says, come on, it's not that bad. This is where she grabs mostly Issei's arm, because if she didn't grab Issei's arm, Issei would have ripped the, guy's side, a new fucking body. And this is where, well, Issei glares at Ria and says, why the hell did you stop me from doing what I do best, destroying? This is where, well, Ria said, oh no, maybe because I kind of like the rumors. This is where Issei glares at her, more annoyed than ever. This is where Issei says, wasn't expecting you to be like any usual regular girl that's just really interested in that stuff. Yeah. This is where, well, Ria says, I'm not. But you're the most interesting person right now in the school. This is where, well, Issei just scoffs at her. And this is where, well, Issei gets to the classroom. And of course, this is where they both walk in. This is where the teacher says, hello there. Issei, Hiro, and Ria's Grummery. May to take your seats. This is where Ria sits at the front, while Issei sits at the back. Right now, this is where, well, he is leaning his chair backwards and just falling asleep now. This is where Ria just sighs to herself because she knows that, well, Issei kind of does this. Mostly from the other day that he kind of did this the same. Mostly, well, since he doesn't really like school that much at all. This is where, well, Issei is right now taking a nap. This is where, well, the teacher says, Issei, mostly Hiro Issei, can you please wake up and tell me the answer? This is where Issei looks at the board. It's mostly like these, multiple, well, not multiple questions, it's like this, like, math problem. Issei gets up, and right now he just sighs, yawning. This is where Rias was actually going to try to help, well, Issei, because she doesn't know how smart he is. And this is where Issei grabs the chalk and right now writes everything so fast in cursive and also details it enough for idiotic people that doesn't know what to do on this stupid fucking problem. Now, this problem was a very difficult problem. Half the students were struggling. Rias didn't struggle that much, but of course, this is where everyone's eyes widen. Even the teachers widen their eyes. This is where Rias also kind of just wasn't shocked. That's where Issei throws the chalk down because it was only a little bit piece. And this is where Issei says, is that detail enough? He kind of just looks at the teacher without a care in the world. One of his eyes went back to sleeping, but yeah, one of his eyes just closed. Is that detail enough? Or do you want me to detail it enough for more of this idiotic bullshit? This is where the teacher says, no, you may go back to sleep. This is where, well, Issei mostly walks back to his, like, chair and went back to sleep. Like, leaned in his chair and went back to sleep, putting his, like, 2 legs up on the table and didn't give a fuck. Because he's at the back. Like, who's going to give a shit if he's at the back? Like, he's at the furthest back, near a window, but yeah. This is where Rios was shocked because she was thinking that, well, since Issei doesn't really pay attention, he's not as smart or as talented as his, like, little brother. No, Issei is smart. He is a genius. Now, of course, he doesn't ever try because, first of all, it's boring as fuck. He realized this. He kind of has the mindset of Shikamaru. This shit is boring. Why would I ever need to try? But yeah. But of course, we go into Issei right now, getting out of class, and this is where Rios kind of tags along with Issei. Now, of course, they do have another class together, and then after that, they don't really have a class. Well, mostly 3 classes later, they don't really have a class together. But the last one they do. But yeah, this is where Issei is sighing. This is stupid. This is where our next class is kind of like this art class, mostly ceramics class. Now, if you know what ceramics is, or you don't, pretty much it's art class, but with clay. But yeah, that's where Issei is right now, sighing. I didn't even manage to sleep that much. This is where, Ria said, you had a full night to rest, and then you sleep in class, and you seem to be more tired than normal. Why's that? This is where, Issei glances at her, and he tries to ignore her. This is where, Ria says, she didn't try to ignore me. He says, Issei-kun. This is where Issei says, stop calling me kun. What the hell? This is where Ria says, oh, come on. It's not that bad, is it? Issei says, yes, it's terribly. This is where people heard the word kun on Issei's name. At the end of his name. This is where so many people are whispering. This is where Issei gets quite annoyed. This is where a guy says, damn, they must be dating already. I'm so sad. I couldn't even get my shot in. This is where so many guys are kind of just talking. This is where, Rias was about to grab Issei's arm until Issei punches a locker. Now, of course, this was just some random guy's locker, and he didn't give a fuck. He dented that shit. He put his whole hand inside the locker, pulled something out. And this is where, it was just a bunch of magazines of, plus 18. He tosses them in the ground. This is where, a bunch of females look disgusted as hell, because first, they know whose locker is that. And this is where, the guy widened his eyes, saying, you son of a bitch. This is where this guy wasn't much like a bad looking guy or anything. He was kind of decent, and half the girls kind of like him. There was not much of a huge fangirl population of like Kiba or Izuna. But of course, he wasn't a bad looking guy. But of course, the girls kind of see that this guy is like 27th, and if there was actually good looking people ranked, and mostly he will be like 27. This is where the guy glares at Madara and says, you ruined my chance to ever get laid, you mother. This is where, not laid, mostly trying to get a harem. This is where, Issei grabs his punch, twisted it, and this is where the person screams in pain. This is where, Issei said, next time, don't be too pathetic. And next time you say anything stupid, I'll rip your head entirely off of your fucking shoulders. This is where Madara said that such a cold, dead voice that it will reinsure this motherfucker never to do anything stupid. Mostly this guy was the one who said I should have got my shot with Rias. This is where, Issei, he knew this motherfucker had a locker because he analyzed everyone's locker. You see here, Issei doesn't just randomly picks any locker to just punch through. He knows that every guy's a pervert. He doesn't care which is Prince Charming or anything. Pretty much he knows Azuna doesn't have any perverted thoughts because he's actually still like a child and all that. Still kind of kid friendly and other things. This is where, he doesn't know about Kiba because first of all, he doesn't give a fuck. Now, of course, this is where, he's mostly focused on Azuna's life. To protect him, to help him out, to find him a lover, and yeah, Issei doesn't care about his love life, so yeah. This is where, Rias is kind of shocked to even know that Issei knew about, this guy being an actual pervert and not like a nice person, but yeah. This is where, Issei kind of also pull out a camera from, the locker, and this is where, since there's a giant hole there, this is where he kind of looks through it, and this is where, he says, what are these? This is where, when females kind of looked closer into the camera, they were horrifying what they saw. Mostly this guy was kind of blackmailing, this girl to kind of go out with him. And of course, this is where he did a bunch of serious, it is serious stuff, but mostly sexually, but yeah, sexually assault this person. This is where this person was actually a younger classmate. This person that Issei kind of beat the shit out of was mostly somewhat in his same class, but kind of in B, mostly not B, a two-way. Now, of course, where, The person horrified his eyes, looking at Issei with these murderous eyes. That's where Issei looks at him with his eyes just suddenly turning red. A very slick crimson red. That's where Issei says, "What?" This is where the person is pissing himself real fucking fast. That's where Issei kind of looks at him with this unemotionally caring eyes. Well, like, not emotionally. He doesn't give a shit. Just motionless. This is where, well, this person just kind of says, "Please don't hurt me." Issei says, "Too late for that." This is where Issei kicked this guy in the face, like in the head. And right now, when he kicked this man in the head, he did kind of curve his leg down so he could stomp this guy's head into the ground. This is where, well, the girls were kind of horrified because, yes, there was blood coming out of this guy's head. But also, how Issei did it with just ease. He didn't give a fuck about this person. He didn't entirely give a fuck that much. And with that happening, the person is right now bleeding. But of course, this is where, well, we go into Issei walking still along with Rias because Rias actually kind of managed to grab him out of the situation and of course pull him towards their next class. They were about like 10 minutes late because, well, Issei had to kind of stop himself from actually killing this motherfucker. But yeah. He also kind of took some notes, mostly a notebook, a small notebook from this guy's locker pretty fast. And this is where he was pretty damn annoyed. He let this guy such an easy way out, like only smashing his head to the ground. And he could have easily ripped this guy limb from limb. When he was reading the book, he was getting more angry and annoyed. This is where, well, what the book said that all the kind of pictures and blackmail and stuff and other things, he would have tried to edit what's it called Azuna's kind of profile. To try to bring down Azuna down so he can be on top. This is where, well, he tried to ruin Azuna's image. This is where Madara, when he finds this motherfucker, he's going to rip him from limb to legit limb. He doesn't give a fuck about people. This is where, well, Issei now thinks that he should probably rip into more lockers or break into more lockers and, well, murder the guy's population slowly but surely, but he doesn't care. But yeah. This is where, well, Rias is kind of glancing at him, trying to see what he's thinking about because Issei has just been looking at the clay for about like 20 minutes. That's where Rias sighs and says, "What are you thinking about, Issei-kun?" She doesn't really call him Madara because it sounds like a terrifying name, but she doesn't really want to call him Madara. This is where, well, Issei glares at her and says, "Stop calling me that. Why don't you call me Madara-kun? It sounds like a better name." This is where, well, Madara-san, oh no. This is where, well, Rias says, "No, because I don't wanna." This is where, well, Issei says, "What if I call you Rias-chan? Will you shut up?" This is where, well, Rias' face becomes a little bit tinted red, or mostly a pinkish color, and says, "No, that won't shut me up." This is where, well, she tried to fake smile, but this is where Issei notices, and this is where he instead grins. This is where Rias kind of notices grin, and realized that, well, her fake smile fell in Issei's eyes. Now this is where, well, she kind of says, I'm gonna go back to looking at this project, okay? I'm almost finish it. This is where, well, she's stuttering a little bit, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei says, yeah. Issei goes off to kind of just keep looking at the clay because he wasn't pretty much thinking about doing the project or whatever. That's where the teacher kind of asked Issei and what was the problem. Issei said it was nothing. It was just him being tired, but yeah. It's same excuse, being tired. The teacher says, "You didn't get enough sleep last night?" "Nope." Issei, "You know if you keep, not doing the project, you're going to fail." This is where, well, Issei says, yeah. I understand. Failure is impossible in this class. Yeah. This is where, well, the teacher sighs, but he just wanted to kind of help Issei. Now, of course, this is where, well, Issei kind of, well, sat back down, and Rias was kind of glancing at, well, Issei just to see if he's actually going to do the project. Issei sighs and actually decides to do the project. Now, he details it enough. He, does it pretty fast. He only had 5 minutes left, and he does it so fast that people were kind of shocked with his hands. He can move super fast if he wants to. This is where he details it enough to kind of make a landscape with this piece of clay. Like I should mention, this slab of clay is about like 2 inches, well not 2 inches, 4 inches tall and about 4 inches wide. And of course, what Issei made was a landscape, and of course these like small figures that were kind of detailed enough for them kind of being wounded, hurt, and other things, because he imagined this in his head. For some reason, he thought of this. This is where, he then put a giant, grotesque-looking creature in the middle with an eye. This is where it had like this. This eye was kind of, one eye was looked like a cycle, like a cyclops. But of course, instead of having like a humanoid body or whatever, instead had, what's it called, no legs, but it had about 10 tails right now swarming around, crushing humans, and of course destroying the land. This is where, it had 2 arms, and this is where it had a giant mouth roaring with sharp teeth. Like, that was detailed enough into the sharp teeth. The eye was, still not color, still the clay was kind of gray, so yeah. But of course, the eye had the detail of having 1 dot in the middle, having ripples around it, having about 9 tomoyas in total, like 9 tomoyas in total in the eye, but in different patterns. But yeah, this is where, Issei then kind of made, he was about to make a figure, but this is where he forgot about it. This is where, he instead put himself on top of it. This is where, he also put two people that were down there. And of course, this is where, one of them were kind of slowly dying, and the other one was kind of hurt. But yeah, this is where these 2 people that were on top with Issei, and that's all. Well, there was no second person. Issei thought of putting himself in it. This is where Issei said, masterpiece. This is where everyone wanted their eyes. And what Issei really done, he made a landscape of destruction. Human beings, yes, like these little figures are supposed to be human beings, hurt and just some of them dead or something. This is where a giant monster destroying all of them, roaring. This is where, it looks to be a cyclops or whatever. And then Issei on top of it. Now, of course, they realized Issei was sculpture himself pretty damn good in it. But of course, this is where, Issei says, the best image I ever made of myself. This is where, he feels pretty damn proud and prideful for that. This is where, everyone was just shocked. Rias was shocked. She was actually kind of making, she was kind of making, what's it called, some landscape similar towards what Issei was doing, but in a smaller kind of scale. But Issei made it kind of bigger. This is where, the teacher wanted his eyes and decided to give Issei, 100 for being, mostly practicing and doing this. But yeah, he didn't realize Issei was a sculpture. Like, goddamn, Issei made this whole fucking thing out of a 4x4 clay, but he only used what's it called a 2x2 clay. Yes, he used kind of half of it, or mostly not 2x2 clay. Mostly, he used half of it, so he now has. He kind of used 2 inches of clay by 4. Now, of course, 4 widen. Now, of course, the other 2 inches of clay and 4 widen, he decided to leave it out of the piece. But yeah. This is where, everyone was just wondering their eyes. Issei did this so professionally and so easily, it's like if he was practicing his whole entire life. This is where Issei says, this looks great. Now, that should definitely put me fearful. This is where, Rias kind of glances at his kind of grin. He's kind of vicious and just happy for himself. But of course, this is where she noticed how Issei kind of mostly put himself on top of the creature, putting one of his legs and right now laughing with this evil grin, or mostly this evil laughter. But yeah, pretty size. But yeah, this is where she realized that her sculpture wasn't as good as Issei. Now Issei took 5 fucking minutes of his fucking life and just did this shit. But yeah, but of course we got into a time skip of later on. Mostly Issei kind of went to his classes and did them. Now, of course, he didn't really try as much. Like, this man doesn't give a shit about grades at all. He doesn't care about showing his talent. He doesn't really care about showing anything. Now, of course, this is where Issei kind of, like, went around to Pacific lockers for a while and started kind of breaking into them. Now, of course, he found just dirty magazines, destroyed them right in front of the people. This is where some people tried to fight him, but this is where Issei legit knocked him into, well, mostly into Mars, but yeah. Of course, where Issei didn't give a shit. He was just destroying dreams. Destroying and annihilating dreams. He didn't care. This is where, well, sorry about that. This is where we go into a time skip of Issei just getting towards the, mostly the research club, just because he was called in by, well, a white-haired girl. Now, of course, well, not a white-haired girl, mostly a girl with kind of blackish hair, and, of course, these, so this blackish hair and these purplish eyes. This is where, well, she kind of said that her name is Akana. Now, of course, she is in, what's it called, also the similar class age of, well, Issei, and she was kind of saying ara when she kind of met him. This is where Issei ignored her entirely with this cold-ass personality. Now, of course, this is where Akana says, Jesus Christ, the rumors weren't lying. He's extremely cold. This is where, well, we go into, well, Rias. Rias kind of explains towards Issei and, well, Zuna and what they are. They're supposed to be devils, and they're supposed to be pawns. Now, of course, this is where Issei glares because he doesn't want to be a fucking pawn to anyone. Especially this, like, red-haired bitch, because, first of all, he doesn't like being called Issei-kun. He doesn't like being ruined of his reputation of being one of the most scariest people in the school. He hates this entirely. This is where, well, she kind of says that she used 7 pawns for, what's it called? Well, Azuna. And about 1 pawn on Issei. This is where, well, but this is where she kind of explains more detail. She tried to put 1 pawn into Issei about 2 times. Those 2 times rejected it. The 3rd time changes the pawn into a king, and then switches the, well, evil piece from being red, crimson red, into, well, a whitish color, like a whitish color, but then black at the same time. And of course, it's no longer, what's it called, Rias under control. It actually just became a part of Issei, and Issei is not a devil, and neither of a pawn towards Rias. Rias did try to use another pawn on Issei to see if she can be able to, well, turn him into a servant. That didn't work. Instead, that next pawn kind of, well, mostly rejected Issei, or mostly Issei's body rejected the pawn and just threw it up in the air. Now, of course, it went into Azuna. Now, of course, Azuna was confused. He has 7 pawns. This is where he sighs because he's not as great and powerful as his older brother. This is where Issei kind of just sighs, and this is where he kind of goes to Azuna, and this is where, well, Madara, he then puts his arm, mostly his hand, on top of Azuna, and this is where a whitish glow appears. Now, of course, this is where, well, Madara does not want Azuna to be anyone's pawn, so, of course, this is where Madara thought of this out of instinct. This is where, well, he then says, servant change. This is where, well, he changes Azuna's evil pieces into white pieces and legit becomes of, well, Madara's, well, mostly Issei's crew. This is where Rias widened her eyes and realized that Issei got the power to just change, well, Azuna into a servant towards him. But of course, this is where, well, his double, what's it called, heritage and other things that Azuna got changed extremely fast. This is where, well, Azuna was confused, and this is where, well, he then kind of realized that he doesn't have that whole night vision and other things. This is where he says, whoa, I don't have night vision anymore. Thanks, brother. This is where, well, all of them are just confused and just stumped. This is where, well, Rias kind of shouts at Issei and what he did. Issei said that he doesn't want anyone, and he means anyone, to dare to try to make his little brother a servant. This is where he glares and glares. Well, mostly he glances and glares at Rias with this murderous look in his eye. This is where, well, Rias realized that she probably shouldn't pick those type of words. Servant? Yeah, she fucked up. But Issei is not really a part of her kind of crew neither. He's pretty much no one's. he became his own lord. He became his own peace lord. Just out of sheer fucking will or whatever just happens. But he's basically his own king. And now that he got Azuna on his side, Azuna's like 7 pieces come out of his body in an instant. They all change into different things. Basically, Knight, Rook, what's it called? What was that? Medic, I think so. Medic? I don't remember. Something like that. Also kind of becomes the queen. Well, not really the queen. Kind of just becomes a lot of things. And it goes into, well, it also did become the queen, but yeah. And also just kind of went into, well, Azuna. Azuna felt a little bit stronger, faster, and other things. He was just kind of confused. This is where he blinked, but yeah. This is where, well, Issei says, how you feeling, little brother? This is where his little brother says, I feel stronger, I guess. I don't know. What just happened? This is where Rias is just shocked. Because basically, Azuna has all the pieces now. Now, of course, this is where she's shocked about all the pawns just changing. This is where, well, Issei said, well, since you are my little brother, you're not really a servant of mine. So, I don't really care. This is where, well, Rias is just shocked, dumbfounded, and just more dumbfounded. Because Issei had the power to just overwrite her kind of servant thing onto Azuna. She probably thinks that this is basically brotherly love. And how Issei cares so much about his brother. He won't let even the goddamn demons, the 4 Satans, goddamn God, or anyone dare stand in his way. This is where, well, from like helping out his little brother. This is where, well, Rias is kind of dumbfounded. This is where, well, Issei says, so we should probably be going then. This is where, well, Azuna says, I guess so. Bye, everyone. Bye, Kiba, This is where, well, Kiba says, bye, Azuna. This is where Rias says, wait! This is where she smashes both of her hands down to the table. This is where Issei is walking away. And this is where Azuna stops and says, yes, Rias-san? This is where, well, Rias says, Issei! This is where, well, Issei glances at her and says, yes, do you need something, Rias-chan? This is where, well, Rias blushes a little bit, but with this angry look, and says, fine, let's start this over. Don't be my servant, but instead be, this is where she's blushing a little bit, and kind of, right now, freezing. She says, be alliance with me. This is where, well, Issei says, I'll think about it. Maybe. This is where, well, Rias kind of just gets annoyed, but this is where, well, she's dumbfounded with Issei. This is where, well, Issei says, maybe I'll be in alliance with you. In 2 conditions. First, you don't dare to try to do anything to Azuna. Instead, I want you to try to protect him. He is my little brother. And if anything happens, I'm going in a murder fucking rampage to go against gods, devils, fallen angels, and angels. I don't care if I have to start a fucking war over every single being. I will do it. I don't care. This is where, well, Rias nodded. And my second reason is, for me to come here anytime I want to, just to sleep on that couch. This is where Rias face plants and says, seriously, is that all? This is where, well, Madara says, right, my third one. I want you to be mine. This is where Ria's face becomes red entirely. This is where Issei laughs and says, I'm just kidding. My third, well, condition is just, well, stop calling me Kun. I swear to God, you annoy me so much with this shit. You're ruining my reputation of being the most evilest person in this whole entire school. This is where Rias kind of, well, nodded. But still in just fully red. Mostly her face is buried into her hand. She did nod it, but yeah. She said, yeah, got it. This is what Rias kind of widened her eyes and realized that she can't call Issei no longer Kun. Instead just Issei. Or Issei-san. Or something else. But this is where she kind of just nodded. This is where Azuna says, override it. Since I have the queen piece, I will overwrite my brother's condition. That third one should definitely not be there. This is where Madara says, the hell? Azuna, no! This is where Azuna says, yes! That means you will overwrite me and I can't call you, what's it called? Madara-kun. This is where, well, Madara says, damn, that's right. Wait, no, I said only Rias cannot call me that. What about the other girls? Fuck. Son of a bitch. I guess that's true. And this is where Asuna says, but Ria's a girl. So I guess that overwrite thing will go override it. And so she'd be able to call you Kun. This is where, well, Issei says, no, Asuna, stop it. Stop with the knowledge. This is where, well, what's it called? Izuna says, Ria just has to change her name to some anonymous alias. She can just change her hair to probably blue or something, and she can still call you Kun. Just in a different alias name and other things. You only said Rias. This is where, well, Issei face plants into his hand and just looks at Izuna and just kind of glares at him. Izuna feels this glare, and this is where he gets scared. This is where, well, Issei sighs and says, fine, I overwrite that third rule. Yes, my brother has a fucking point. This is where Rias actually was about to just start changing her name onto a paper and had like this paint of like blue paint. This is where, well, mostly blue hair paint, and this is where when everyone kind of did glance at her, everyone's kind of shocked and realized that she was basically taking Azuna's idea. Madara face plants again and says, what the fuck are you doing? This is where Madara didn't really stop himself from chuckling because it seems stupid what Rias is doing, but yeah. This is where Rias says nothing. This is where she throws the paper and the, what's it called, hair dye away, but yeah. This is where, well, he says, fine, you can call me Kun. I don't care. Just don't say it in fucking public. Don't even say it near my parents because I swear to God, they're already annoying. This is where, well, Ria said, okay, I won't. This is where she kind of just smiles at Issei. This is where Issei says, yeah. I feel like you also want conditions. This is where, well, Ria says, I don't have any conditions right now or anything. I'll talk to you later or nothing. Nah. This is where, well, Issei says, yeah. Let's go, Izuna. This is where Izuna says, got it. This is where, well, Issei is not with what they call Rias' group. Instead, he's on his own, but with Izuna with him. His little brother. But yeah, he does not want his little brother to be a damn servant to anyone. Not even himself. But the only way to stop him from being a servant is to make him his servant. But it's mostly going to be his little brother, and he won't do anything to his little brother. But yeah. Now, of course, we go into, well, Issei and Azuna going home. But of course, they bump into a blondish haired girl with green eyes. Now, of course, where, well, Azuna went to go check on her and see if she's okay. And that's where she was blushing, but of course, she nodded. And this is where her name was Asa? Yeah, Asa? Or something like that. It's not Asia or Asui or anything like that. It's Asa or something like that. And of course, she nodded. She was going to the church. And of course, where, well, mostly the broken or mostly the church has been abandoned for a while. This is where, well, she's going there. And of course, where, well, Azuna and, well, Madara come along. This is where they bump into a boy. Azia kind of did heal the boy. And this is where, well, Azuna went his eyes and says, whoa, that's so amazing. This is where, well, Azuna kind of smiles at him and says, thank you. This is where, well, Azuna says, you're pretty talented in other things. But yeah. So this is where, well, we go into them getting to Fallen, mostly before getting to the abandoned church. Both Azuna, mostly Azuna is kind of waving by at, what's it called? Azia. And this is where, well, Issei kind of also waves by at Azia and says that they will be going, of course, to where Issei already had this terrible feeling in the fallen church. But yeah. Now, of course, we go into Issei. Mostly, he kind of got outside from, well, his just house and all that. And went to kind of walk around the kind of city. So it's mostly dark. And, of course, where, well, he's mostly walking around town. Dealing with some of the strays and other things. But yeah, that's where, well, he kind of hears someone kind of just talking, or not talking. Mostly, he kind of feels this ominous kind of pressure, and just has to go check it out. He goes to a house, a Pacific house, and then when he walks in, he like fucking busted down the door. He didn't give a fuck about being silent. This is when he gets inside. He kind of sees the car, Frederick. Frederick is laughing because he killed someone. Pathetic devil. You think you will be able to stop me? This is where, well, what Frederick is right now fighting is against, well, mostly, Kiba. Just where Kiba say, damn it, you bastard. I should probably kill you now and cut off that damn tongue of yours. This is where Frederick says, if you could, Ozia, can you please heal me? This is where Ozia says, but I don't want to kill anyone. This is where Frederick says, damn brat, I said hit. This is where before he even grabs Ozia from the neck. This is where, well, Issei appears, grabbing this man from the arm and breaking it. This is where, well, Frederick jumped back and said, what the hell? Son of a bitch! You mother! This is where, well, Issei appears right in front of him, grabbing him from the face and smashing him to the fucking wall like we had a care in the world. This is where, well, the strength, the power that Issei displayed is on another level. This is where, well, Frederick didn't get out of the fucking crevice of crater. Says, you mother fucker, I'm gonna kill you, you damn demon. This is where he swings the light sword, and when it hits Issei in the arm, it doesn't really hurt him that much. He says, are you supposed to be doing something? Frederick says, are you a demo or not? No. Oh, this is where Issei bitch smacks him in the face, right now launching him into a fucking, well, into the wall, and then just cradling his ass through like 4 walls until he hits outside. Yeah, Frederick was just one in his eyes when he just got backhanded. This is where he wasn't openly backhanded. He was backhanded with his arm being closed. Like, bah! Like, this is where Frederick was knocked the fuck out. He's like, I see stars. I think I even see the Lord. Ugh. This is where, someone managed to pick up Frederick. It was a fallen angel. And this is where the fallen angel says, damn, I thought you died. This is where it was a girl's voice. And this is where, well, Issei looks up, and sees the fallen angel as a girl with bluish hair. This is where she says, no matter, I should be leaving. This is where, well, she then leaves. And of course, this is where, well, Ozzy was happy to see Issei. This is where, well, Kiba says, thanks, Issei. This is where Issei says, I didn't do this because of you. I did this because Ozzy here is, well, a friend of mine. This is where, well, Ozzy kind of winds her eyes and says, really? We are? Yeah, and that if I didn't save you, my little brother would be really sad and all the pain that you went through. This is where Kiba says, haha, right, you're doing this all because of your little brother. No care about anyone else's feelings. Yes. This is where, well, and Issei says, and Kiba, if you would have got hurt, yeah, my little brother also be saddened because his best friend was hurt. So I stepped in. This is where, well, Kiba says, yeah, it's not because he cared about me, no. Yeah, Issei doesn't really care about anyone's feelings. Like, if someone that Asuna doesn't know, Issei doesn't care about letting them die. Yeet, he doesn't care. This is where, well, Issei says, damn fallen angel. They laugh. Whatever. Hey, Ozzy, wanna kinda live with me and my brother? This is where Ozzy says, really? No, I shouldn't. It's probably a bother and other things. I would be a bother to you. This is where Issei says, nah. You'll be fine. You can be with my brother. Besides, you two look cute together. This is where, well, Ozzy blushes and says, well, this is where, well, Kiba kind of says, huh? Wait a minute. Oh, I see what you're doing. This is where, well, Issei says, besides, you two be great together. This is where Ozzy says, okay. This is where we go into Issei, get into the house, and bring in Ozzy along. And of course, this is where when Issei's parents are asleep, this is where Zuno opened his eyes because he was in the kitchen sleeping, well, mostly sleepwalking. And this is where, well, he got the glass of water just to drink it, and then go back upstairs until he sees Ozzy and Madara. This is where he said, "Muh!" This is where, well, his mouth got covered up, and this is where Issei said, shh, shut up. We don't want, our family to find this out. Ozzy is going to stay with us for a little bit because, well, she has nowhere else to go. This is where I was going to say, what about the abandoned church? Don't know why, but, well, a crazy priest tried to hurt her. This is where Zuna gets angry. His, well, eyes somewhat boils, and right now turns into a shadish red. This is where Issei says, calm down, Zuna. This is where Zuna nodded and says, Issei, sorry about that. This is where, well, Issei says, we're just going to have to protect the girl. So, this is where Issei says, we're just going to protect her so she doesn't get hurt. This is where, well, Azuna nodded and says, okay. This is where he then says, walking along, what's it called, Azia? We don't have really another spare room, but you can sleep in my room and I'll sleep on the couch. This is where, well, Issei says, no worry about that. You two can sleep together. This is where, well, Izuno's face becomes red a little bit. This is where Azia also becomes red. This is where, well, they say, what? This is where, well, Issei covered both of their mouth. And they, shh. But you two should definitely sleep together. Just don't think of anything wrong. Just be peaceful together. This is where, well, Madara kind of just chuckles and grins. This is where Azuna realized, what is Madara trying to do? Basically get revenge on him for what he did with him and Rias. This is where, well, Azuna realized that he kind of regretted this. This is where, well, he doesn't think of Azia like a bad girl or any kind of desperate, what's it called, thirsty or anything. He actually just sees her as a good friend. Like a very special friend. This is what, well, Madara just grins and says, don't worry, two. Just sleep together, you two be fine. Nothing will happen ever. Besides, I'm here, so nothing would be bad enough to happen. This is where, well, Azuna kind of narrowed his eyes a little bit. Not as angry, but just kind of terrified. Madara is getting revenge one way or another. But we go into mostly the night happening. But yeah, time skip. This is where, well, the next day happens. And of course, where, well, Issei, he's outside with Azuna and Azia. And of course, where Azia and Azuna are kind of just going around the park, just walking around and just talking, while Issei is sleeping on the bench. Sorry about coughing, but yeah, wait. So this is where, well, Issei is just sleeping, and this is where, well, both, what's it called, Azia and, what's it called, Azuna were attacked by a fallen angel, and it's none other than Yumi. Yumi says, give me that girl. I'll be taking her along with me. This is where, well, both Azuna and, well, Azia didn't want to go, or mostly Azuna didn't want to, like, let go of what's called, Azia, until, well, he did get hit by a light spear, and of course it hurt it, but of course it didn't hurt that much. This is where, well, Azuna didn't want, what's it called, Azia to be hurt or cry or anything. This is where his eyes transforms into the two Tomoe Sharingan, out of anger and frustration. Mostly that his brother is always good at protecting him and doesn't want his brother need to get hurt. This is where his booster gear awakens. Booster gear! This is where, well, Azuna was confused, but this is where he didn't care. This is where the booster gear says, boost! This is where, well, Azuna right now jumps, well, mostly towards Yumi. Yumi says, light spear. She sends another light spear. This is where Azuna dodges it. And this is where, well, what's it called? Yumi says, I won't let you survive. You will die here with that sacred gear. I don't know what it does, but I don't care. This is where, well, she keeps sending light spear, but this is where Azuna managed to dodge it. Now, of course, all the attacks are going extremely slow towards him. This is where he's actually managing to kind of see where it's coming, but they're coming still a little bit faster. But of course, this is where he dodges the attacks and does narrow his eyes towards what's called Yumi, putting her under a genjutsu. Now, of course, it's weak genjutsu, but of course, this is where, well, it's a genjutsu no matter what. Now, of course, this is where, well, Yumi managed to break through it with will, force, or mostly just anger. And of course, she tries to attack Azuna again. Azuna tries to dodge this time, but this is where the light spear was going a little too fast. And it would have hit Azuna if it wasn't for Madara appearing, grabbing the light spear and shattering it. This is where, well, Madara says, what are you doing to my little brother? Didn't I say when we first met that I will rip you apart? You damn whore. This is where, well, Yumi says, huh? You think I will lose to you? well, you see here, you two already lost. This is where Azia screams, and of course, she's already taken and knocked out. This is where, well, Azuna says, no, Azia! This is where Madara had to kind of slap away, what's it called, some light spirits from him. But of course, Azia is taken away by the blue-haired girl, or mostly a blonde-haired girl. This is where a blue-haired girl and Yumi did try to attack, what's it called, Issei. This is where Issei managed to grab one of the light spirit and started just swinging it around. This is where he threw it super fast, and it hit, well, one of them in the arm, just cutting it off. Mostly, well, Yumi wasn't the one to get hit. Mostly it was a bluish-haired girl. But yeah. So we go back into, oh wait, wrong thumbnail. So, you didn't see that thumbnail. No, you did not see that thumbnail at all. But, of course, we go back into Issei, what's it called? Well, kind of dealing with what's it called, Zuna being saddened and of course crying in his arms. But yeah, that's where Madara was kind of glaring at those damn fallen angels for making Zuna cry. Now this is where, well, Madara's eyes changes into the Manikyo Sharingan. This is where, well, it was already the Manikyo Sharingan until they became the EMS. This is where, well, something happens in Issei's body. Something awakened in him. Annihilation. This is where a reddish glow appears in Issei's arm, and of course Azuna was still crying because he was saddened that Azuna left or managed to be taken. But of course Issei was brought into his mindscape. This is where he meets a giant dragon in his body. Sorry, I was actually coughing way too much. But of course we go into Issei. Issei is right now kind of talking to a being. A huge being. This is where Issei wants his eyes. His eyes narrow. Never mind. So I went to get a cough drop because I was just coughing way too much. But yeah. But other than that, let me continue on with this water. Sorry about that. I was coughing way too much. But of course we go into, well, Issei narrowing his eyes and looking up and seeing this tall, dark being with red eyes also. Now, of course, this tall being has two pair of wings. These black but with reddish kind of wings. Of course, this is where, well, sorry, wait. Pretty much, well, this kind of black dragon was right now in front of Issei. This is where Issei says, who the fuck are you? This is where, oh, this dragon says, me? Oh, I guess he still don't know me. But I am. Well, so this is where, well, his name is Hakai. The name is Hakai. The dragon of destruction. Or, well, not destruction. Annihilation. Issei kind of looks up at him and says, what the fuck? A dragon? How the fuck are you inside me? I actually pause. Wait, that sounds wrong as fuck. In so many levels. But no, how? Literally, what the fuck? This is where, well, the dragon says, oh, seal into your body. Bye. Well, we go into a flashback. Hawkeye was just one day sleeping in this empty void, doing absolutely nothing. Until a being appears right in front of him, right now having a sword on his back, and this is where the person just grins at him. This is where Hawkeye says, what do you want, Dark Raikou? Dark Raikou-sama. This is where, well, Dark Raikou says, I have a job for you. I'm gonna see you into some child's body. This is where, well, Hawkeye says, wait, what? Don't worry, I command you to do it. You're going to help this child and become one of the strongest beings in the world. Hawkeye says, well, I have other things to do, and that is... Okay, well, I'm going to try to finish this water because I'm going to keep coughing. But, pretty much, the dragon said, I have things to do, and that means sleep. So, if you don't mind, this is where, well, he then felt this pressure power. I said, do as your... Never mind. This is where, well, the person, mostly Dark Raikou, shuts up. This is where, well, Hawkeye says, huh, you didn't want to say it? Why? Then I'll say it. With my This is where, well, he gets shut up in an instant. A sword was actually almost right into his eye. This is where, well, he went in his eyes. This is where, well, Dark Raikou says, shut up. I don't want you to say that. I'm just a friendly assassin. I don't care about anything like that. Status doesn't matter to me. Now, help the person, or I'll right now make you be in his body one way or another. This is where, well, Hawkeye says, I understand. This is where we go into Hawkeye, and Hawkeye says, what job? Oh, you know, I was born with you. I'm basically a part of your soul. Not really. He knows this is bullshit, but yeah. This is where he says, I am the Dragon of Annihilation. I am here to help you on your journey. This is where Madara starts walking away. This is where the Annihilation Dragon says, hey, where the fuck you going? Come back. I need to talk to you, you mother. This is where, well, Issei wakes up and says, whatever dream that was. This is where he gets pulled back into his mindscape. The dragon is right now getting angry at Madara. Madara says, what? I'm tired. Go away. I need to find out a way to destroy them. This is where, well, the Annihilation Dragon says, I have a way for you to destroy them all in an instant. Do you want to be helped? This is where Madara says, yes. This is where, well, we go into a time skip later on, a couple of nights later, but yeah. Mostly Azuna went to sleep. Well, not a couple of nights, mostly the night today. And this is where, well, Madara says, time to deal with these weaklings. This is where he talks to the Annihilation Dragon. And of course, this is where, well, Hakai kind of said that he will give some of the power towards Madara to annihilate them. This is where, well, Madara pulls out a black gauntlet, but with a red gem inside it, mostly in the middle. This is where, well, we go into a time skip of, well, Issei getting towards the abandoned church. This is where, well, when Issei is getting through, he kind of sees, well, commotioning happening down there. This is where, well, he kind of like gets down there, and of course there was no fallen angels or no one blocking his way. But when he gets there, the blue hair girl and what's it called, Yumi are trying to fight against a blondish hair girl with only one wing. But of course another girl with blondish hair and has two ponytails, doish blue eyes, even though they look to be fake. Because they are kind of fake. They actually become red after a while. But she has 6 pair of fallen angel wings. This is where, well, the followers are trying to like fight against these other fallen angels, mostly the blondish hair girls. And of course, this is where, well, Azia is right now on the thing, the cross or whatever the hell is, just to take her powers away. Yeah. But this is where, well, Madara is seeing this, and of course, he sneaks in, kind of just like, well, not sneaks in, he realized that the two kind of fallen angels that are kind of fighting against the others seems to be a problem here because, well, first of all, one of those blondish hair girls were one of them that took Azia. And then the other one, he doesn't know who the fuck that is. Also, I'm having kind of a voice crack because my throat is hurting a lot. Or mostly I'm coughing way too much. So, of course, this is where, well, Issei, who doesn't give a shit about what is happening, decides to ask the Annihilation Dragon for one thing. How do I do this? This is where the Annihilation Dragon says, oh, I got you. Annihilation Ball. Destruction activated. This is where a red ball appears in Issei's hand. Mostly the small, tiny thing. But he just tosses it at the, what's it called? Followers, the kind of followers for these fallen angels and other things. And it explodes in the middle, already annihilating all of these kind of followers. There were over 200 and they're gone. This is where, well, Yumi and what's it called, the bluish hair girl turns to see Issei, and also what's it called, the blondish hair girl and the other girl do turn around and say, what the fuck? He annihilated them all without care. This is where, well, Frederick, who was there, say, holy shit. No, I'm not fighting with you. Fuck that. No, this is bad. Damn it. This is where he goes off to kind of go get something. But yeah. This is where, well, he says, holy shit, I didn't expect that to be that powerful. The Annihilation Dragon says pridely, saying, yes, I am the most strongest being in the whole world. No one can take me on. This is where the Annihilation Dragon says, only a couple of people can take me on. And I say a couple. I only mean two. This is where he thinks in his head, one person being a kind of female that, well, has, what's it called? Red, black, well, mostly red, black, and purple scales. But of course, that's in her dragon form. In her well, mostly in her human form, she kind of has an armor. And of course, this is where she kind of has this necklace that has multiple colors inside it. This is where she has horns on top of her head. And does have a crown to seem to be like a queen or something. This is where, well, another person shows up. This person in his head shows up to have what's it called, whitish eyes, a hood over his head. A crown right now floating on top of him. And of course, this crown is kind of white. Purely white. His eyes are white. It's exactly the same thing. He has kind of dark skin. Mostly the other person has like pale skin. But this person has dark skin in his like imagination. And of course, this is where, well, the person grins right now pulling out a scythe. The other person had a sword. But the sword had a mixture of 3 swords upon like together. But yeah. This is where, well, the last person is basically in between both of them. He has kind of darkish skin, but a little bit kind of palish a little bit. But of course, this is where, well, he has one eye glowing blue, the other being eye patch. But of course, having a black scientist coat with a hood on it. And of course, where he has a black shirt, black pants that are kind of sweats, and black boots. So yeah. Of course, having a sword behind him, this crackling with turquoise blue lightning and black darkness. But yeah, this is where, well, the Annihilation Dragon switch up and says, yeah, only a couple of people can take me on. He said in his head, yeah, those people can annihilate me in an instant. Fuck that. This is where, well, Issei says, whatever. Azia! This is where, well, Azia opened her eyes and said, Madara. Well, she says, Issei-kun, you're here. This is where she falls asleep again because she's really tired because they're draining energy. And this is where, well, Issei didn't have time for this and just rushes past what's it called, a giant crater by jumping over it until he had to dodge 2 light spears in the, what's it called, sky. Mostly from Yumi and that bluish hair girl, but yeah. Yumi says, I won't let you get in my way, you bastard. You're a kill, what's it called, Dawn Seeker. I won't let you get in my way. Issei says, to the fuck bad. This word, well, Issei's eyes becomes red and becomes into the MS only, not the EMS, you see? And this is where he goes to her hand signs. Fire style, majestic flame destroyer. This is where, well, when he keeps activating his eyes and going up the levels and all that, he kind of gets more memories. And this is where, well, both Yumi and the bluish hair girl Bernie had time to dodge until they ignited with flames. This is where, well, right now burning. And of course, this is where, well, Yumi and, what's it called, the bluish hair girl. Well, mostly the bluish hair girl couldn't resist the fire. But Yumi managed to get out of the way. And of course, she managed to get to Azia and gets, what's it called, the 2, what's it called, rings. This is where she heals in an instant, says, haha, I have the power. Now you won't be able to stop me. This is where, well, Issei grins and says, stop, you sad. A bitch like you should have died instantly. This is where Issei, he made a sword. Well, mostly a sword out of nowhere. Well, not even a sword. He created a black rod. Like this black rod out of nowhere. It's completely black. But he tosses it at, what's it called, Yumi in an instant. And it just pierces through her and destroying her body in an instant. Yumi said, what? No! This is where the rings fall down. And of course, this is where, well, Issei did get back the black rod that turned into a ball and disappears. This is where, well, Issei didn't even know what the hell he did exactly. It felt natural to him for some reason. This is where, well, Issei kind of got the earrings, and or not earrings, mostly rings, and just put them back into what's it called, mostly as Asia, or whatever her name is, back into her body to heal her. This is where, well, she says, what just happened? This is where, well, she opened her eyes and said, Madara-kun. This is where Madara says, hey, you remember my name? My nickname? Yes. Yes, it's getting popular. This is where, well, the two blonde hair girls kind of like land down. One of them, well, Azia kind of said was, her name was. So this is where Azia said, Mita. This is where it was a blondish hair girl. She did have two ponytails and of course bluish eyes. Actual bluish eyes. This is where she had two pair of mostly fallen wings. And of course she lands down and says, Azia, you're back. This is where they hug each other. And mostly this is where, well, Azia says, Junko-san. This is where, well, Junko says, hello there. This is where, well, she then kind of glances towards Issei. And of course, her eyes are still red, but they go back into a soft, dull blue eye, well, mostly blue color. This is where she has 6 pairs of wings, well, mostly 3 wings on one side and 3 wings on the other side. She has 6 in total. This is where she says, thank you for helping us. Which, she didn't really want to thank it that much because she wanted to save Azia herself. Because she didn't need a human to help her with some kind of weird secret gear. Or somehow just able to just send flames from his mouth. This is where Issei says, I didn't do this because of you. I did this because of my little brother. He wanted to save Azia, and I couldn't let him be in danger. So I did this by myself. Yeah. This is where, well, this girl kind of named Junko says, oh, okay. This is where Azia says, I'm sorry, Madara-kun, I'm gonna have to go with Junko here back towards. This is where Junko says, yes, we're going towards the Fallen Angel base. My father did tell you to kind of come along. I'm sorry for getting you involved with this whole bullshit of these Fallen Angels. They're basically being lead and led by none other than, this is where someone says, none other than me. A man with darkish black hair, pointy ears, and of course, palish white skin. This is where he had reddish eyes and had like about 10 wings in total. This is where his name was Cocoa Bean. Not really, I don't remember his actual name, but I call him Cocoa Bean. But of course, it's where, well, he says, yes. Hello there, Junko. You are the daughter of Azael and Minto, another former full-blooded fallen angel. You dare betray my leadership? Well, I knew you two were never along. But Azia, I need you. That power will be great use when I defeat the devils and also those damn angels. When I bring war into this world again, and we won't lose this time. And I won't make sure that damn bastard doesn't, well, retreat too fast. This is where Junko says, are you crazy? We're in the middle of peace. We don't want another war. You crazy battle maniac. This is where, well, Cocoa Bean says, I am a maniac. But you people are going to die. I'm going to take mostly Azia back. Come here, little girl. Little human girl. This is where Azia gets scared. Hides behind was a comment Mitsu. And this is where Mitsu says, I won't let this bastard hurt you. This is where, well, Madara stands in front of, well, mostly between the fallen angels that are kind of trying to help Azia versus what they call Cocoa Bean. This is where, well, Issei said, you should 3 probably start leaving. Make a magic circle and disappear. I'll handle this guy. This doesn't matter. I'll fight and kick his ass. This is where Madara grins. This is where, well, Cocoa Bean says, huh? I won't let that happen. You pathetic human, you can't even take me on. This is where, well, Junko says, don't be stupid. He's a general. He might be a crazy battle maniac, but he's a general of the fallen angels. This is where, well, Issei stops her by kind of putting his mostly hand on her, kind of mostly putting his hand right in front of her to shut her up for a second. This is where, well, she says, are you telling me to shut up? Issei says, kinda. Does it work? This is where, well, Issei kinda just grins at her. He might be a battle maniac, but that doesn't mean I'm not a battle maniac neither. I love the battle and the fight, the thrill of the war. For some reason that reminds me so much about war. But that doesn't matter. You should probably leave now. Unless you want to see a full-on war between 2 battle maniacs. This is where the Cocoa Bean laughs and says, ha ha ha. Interesting. So you're a battle warfare maniac also. why don't you join my side then, human? Because I don't wanna. Instead, I wanna kick your ass, since it seems to be strong. Hey, fallen angel, Junko, right? Go, get out of here already. You realize that if you don't leave right now, a small little warfare might start. So go. This is where, well, Junko kind of just looks at, well, Madara narrow eyes, hatred a little bit, but for some reason feeling something else. Her face had a little pinkish tint because she was never taught back by anyone. And of course, where, well, she says, fine, let's go. This is where she makes a magic circle, and of course, Asuka says, wait, no! This is where, well, they're already teleporting. This is where Issei grins at, what's it called, Cocoa Bean. Cocoa Bean grins at him. This is where, well, we go into the battle. This is where Issei is right now fighting against Cocoa Bean. And for some reason, sometimes when Cocoa Bean sends light spears at Issei, it doesn't truly hit him. It for some reason just goes through him instead. This is where, well, Cocoa Bean says, what? What the fuck are you? Damn, I won't lose to you. This is where he swings his light, spear straight towards Issei, but Issei managed to dodge. He jumps out of the way, and of course managed to kick Cocoa Bean in the fucking head. This is where Cocoa Bean gets annoyed and starts sending more attacks at Issei. But of course Issei keeps dodging, or easily managing to, well, kind of deflect him by kind of sending a fireball. Yes, he can actually use element jutsus right now. For some reason, he going through hand signs unconsciously, remembering more hand signs throughout a battlefield. Throughout his past lives or his previous life, he's sending water pressure, high pressure beam. He tries to cut at Cocoa Bean, but Cocoa Bean managed to cut, well, dodge, and of course the church was cut into two. This is where, well, Madara is sending fire attacks, wind style slashes at what's it called, Cocoa Bean. Cocoa Bean is dodging. He's only managing to dodge a little bit. But of course, both of them are fighting right now to the death. This is where Cocoa Bean laughs and says, haha, you're actually giving me a good time, human. This is where Madara says, you're not doing too bad, Fallen. This is where, well, they're fighting. And this is where, well, Madara says, Annihilation. Annihilation blast. This is where, well, he doesn't say Annihilation blast. He says Annihilation punch. He punches with the call, what, Cocoa Bean with the Annihilation gauntlet. Right now, sending his ass straight into multiple trees. This is really Annihilation Dragon saying, damn, you have so much destructive power. You're being able to handle so much more power than I thought. Let's keep going, brat. This is where, well, Madara grins and says, yep, we should keep going. Or I'm not giving up. Hell the fuck no. This is where, well, they keep fighting, and of course where Cocoa Bean and Madara were kind of put on a standstill. But of course where Madara didn't show too many wounds, which he did have so many wounds, Cocoa Bean also had many wounds. And this is where Cocoa Bean says, whatever. Light spear. He makes a huge light spear to end Madara. Madara. He, for some reason, clapped both of his hands in an instant. And this is where Cocoa Bean sent his light spear. This is where Madara says one word. Susanoo! Boom! A huge, bright blue light appears. But of course, it wasn't his perfect Susanoo. It was imperfect. But of course, it managed to make his kind of like body. But of course, it was only on the ground. This is where, well, the Susanoo had 4 arms, pulling out 2, well, mostly a blade on each arm, sending multiple slashes at the, what's it called, fallen angels kind of, what's it called, well, light spear. This is where, well, the light spear gets destroyed by one of the slashes, and then 3 other slashes manage to hit Cocoa Bean. Cocoa Bean caught. You motherfucker. This is where he managed to make a light, mostly a light circle around him to kind of disappear. But yeah, he needed to get away from Madara. Madara says, fuck you, you pathetic weakling bastard. This is where Madara falls down forward. And of course, he's passing out because, damn, that took so much energy. More energy than he thought. This is where, well, someone managed to find him and, of course, kind of wonder what the hell happened. Of course, this is where, well, her kind of sister looked like, well, they're not really sister, but of course, they're looking at each other kind of confused. But of course, we go into mostly the Fallen Angel District somewhat. This is where, well, Issei is kind of, well, mostly a person with kind of blackish hair and yellowish hair in front of him is kind of sitting on the couch watching TV. And of course, where, well, he hears the door open, then shut in an instant. And this is where, well, this person says, "Hey, sweetie, are you okay?" This is where, well, she says, "Shut up," in an instant. This is where, well, someone whitish hair says, "What the hell is wrong?" And this is where, well, the blondish hair girl named Junko says, "Shut the fuck up, Volley. I need you to shut up. Damn annoying bastards." This is where she gets into her room and just shuts in an instant. This is where, well, Volley is confused. He looks towards Azo, and Azo looks also confused. Azo says she might just be going through a lot of things. You know, girl puberty is kind of crazy. I don't know what's happening. She's probably just going through something. I don't know. Don't look at me, Volley. Volley says, sure. What the fuck? Okay. Now, of course, Volley and Junko are kind of like siblings, step siblings. But yeah, of course, Azo says, "Hey, don't look at me. If you want to go talk to her, I suggest you don't. I have experience not to talk to angry females at certain point of age." This is where, well, Volley says, "Is that just because of your previous wife, who kind of probably left you or died during the war? I don't know what really happened with that, but I'm just thinking she left you." This is where Azo spits out. Was a car, just some spit, and says, "You mother." This is where, well, Volley kind of just walks away, and this is where Azo says, "You little brat." Well, we should probably go get some report. If Junko's back, that means she either brought, Azia back. This is where, well, he spreads out 10 wings and disappears. Or, not 10 wings, we'll see, makes a magic circle and disappears. But yeah, this is where, well, Junko in her room, she is right now, like, sliding down the door. And of course, her face is nothing but red. Kind of reddish and pinkish. This is where she is annoyed, frustrated, and letting a stupid fucking human fight against Cocoa Bean. But of course, she knew that she was outmatched against Cocoa Bean. But at the same time, she let that stupid human do such a reckless thing. But of course, when he kind of told her to shush and like leave, because he's not that weak and how he was strong and he loves to fight and other things, it made her feel weird in her stomach. Like she liked this confident human. She started falling in. This is where Junko just slap herself and say, "No, I shouldn't be thinking of that. No, 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 no." She's trying to like push it out of her head, but of course it can't be pushed. Such a longish, blackish, but same brownish hair, but dark brownish hair. Of course, these dark onyx eyes. This is where, well, she's kind of falling in love. This is where she's like, "No, no, no." She starts slapping herself, but yeah. This is where she said, "Ow, my face hurts." This is where, well, we go into Azuna still asleep, but yeah. But for right now, I'm going to end it off here. For mostly part 2 of What If Issei was a reincarnation of Madara Uchiha and had the Black Dragon of Annihilation part 2. Now, before I continue on, I'll mostly leave it off here. I know one thing that you're all thinking. Why didn't you put Issei with Rias? Or why didn't... because, well, first of all, I thought of like changing it. I didn't care that much. Because you see here, someone far away in distant planets, or mostly on the cloud, knew about this whole thing and decided to plan it out. But yeah. Now, not the point. So what else was I going to speak about? I should also mention that yesterday I didn't really could post. I mostly could have uploaded a short, and that's why you saw a short about, what's it called, why I can't upload it yesterday, because my car broke down. But luckily, I managed to fix it. Not really. I asked one of the engineer kids that usually come to my school and other than that, because it was kind of daytime and they only come at daytime. I go in the afternoon because, yeah, I go to a tech school somewhere. And of course, I just asked him to kind of fix my car, man. Like, mostly I asked the teacher, but yeah. And then someone managed to came, but yeah, you get the point. I was fucked. Yeah, my car broke down. Such the shittiest spot. But yeah, luckily, they were more professional. Because I didn't know jack shit about engineering. No way, I don't know anything. I'm basically going to a different trade. than engineering, or mostly mechanicking. But you get the point. Not engineering, mostly mechanicking. But yeah, you get the point, right? I'm an idiot when it comes to mechanicking around cars, because my dad is the same. We're both basically not that great in mechanicking, because I have no clue how to fix a car. Like, if you tell me to fix a car and I'll get like $10 billion, your car is going to be fucked up. It's not going to be fixed. It's going to be mostly disassembled, and then I'm gonna try to figure out how to do it, but then I'm gonna give up halfway through. So yeah. Or I might just make a miniature car out of your own car, but yeah, I don't know. But not the point. I was rambling on way too much. I know this is kind of the second channel where I get to just ramble on, because this is my second channel. I don't care. But other than that, let me end it off here and let me shut the fuck up. Also, if you watched throughout this whole video, seeing me ramble on a little bit and cough throughout this video, I'm sorry about that. That's just who I am. I kind of do that on my first channel a little bit, but not much. But other than that, thank you for 100 subscribers. I'll make that 100 subscriber special. But yeah, it's mostly a what if, because I do that also in my first channel. But yeah, other than that, sorry for rambling on. Let me end this off. And yeah, bye, Chucklefucks. But yeah.